Welcome back to News Across Nigeria, where we inform you on what's happening now across the Nigerian Federation. We were with education before the quick break, and now we go back there, but to another state. The staff and pupils of the Federal University of Technology, Akure, Ondo State, have staged a protest expressing their displeasure at the closure of the school by university authorities. The teachers who are demanding for the reopening of the school said university authorities had laid them off, asking them to reapply, but they insist they will not reapply. It will be recalled that the federal government had last year directed that all the staff of the federal university staff, primary and secondary schools be removed from the university's payroll as from January 2015. All efforts to reach the authorities to comment on this development failed, as the Vice Chancellor was not on campus and the PRO was said to be on leave.
Change our school to private school, and we don't want new teacher. We want the Buhari should call our teachers back.
There was a kind of circular, unsigned circular, obnoxious circular. The VC claimed to have received from the government, saying that it should, relinquish the position of these staffers. Then we met with him, the stakeholders met with him, the religious leader met with him, and he promised it's okay. What he's going to do is that he will allow the teachers to be working pending the government, when the time government resolve the issues, but on the condition that the teachers should reapply. Then the question is, somebody that has worked for 20 years and above, under what guise is he going to reapply? The teachers he want to apply, are employed, are they not going to be paid? But the current one said, keep your money while we continue to render our service to the children because of the love they have for the pupils and their job too. And you said no, unless they reapply. Then the question is, what is he going to benefit from it? Not only that, out of the 30-something universities that got this letter, only FUTA is implementing it.
Also in education, lecturers from the 4 state-owned tertiary institutions in Osun State have declared a total and indefinite strike following what they term as a breach on the part of government on all the agreements reached at the last negotiating table. Rising from the Congress held simultaneously across the 4 institutions in the respective towns, the lecturers under the aegis of ASUP and COASUP say the option of total downing tools became necessary following the unlawful termination of appointments of lecturers and stoppage of admission into institutions, amongst others.
On the 29th of October 2015, lecturers of the 4 Osun State tertiary institutions signed an agreement with the state government. The agreement covered issues of payment of salaries, disbursement of bailout loans, the composition of the governing council of each tertiary institution, and yearly promotion exercises. These agreements restored peace and ended a 6-month strike in 2015. Barely 3 months after, the same lecturers are singing a new song. At this emergency congress, they allege a breach of the agreements.
Our endurance has been stretched to the limits by recent developments, including the unlawful stoppage of admission and wrongful termination of appointments orchestrated by an illegal governing council in the most flagrant disregard for the statute of this great institution and the standards set by our regulatory body, the National Commission for Colleges of Education, NCCE.
I, Comrade James Oladele Ojo, hereby declare a total and indefinite strike action against the government of the state of Osun.
The Osun State government, in its defense, says the retrenchment exercise is in line with the restructuring program of the governing council of the institutions, which aims to boost quality and standard.
The situations in majority of our tertiary institutions, I will give you examples. Some people entered into these polytechnics as workers with HND degree. And for upward of 10-15 years, they have been there without improving themselves. How do you now justify such a person teaching HND graduates like themselves?
The industrial action will again halt the school calendar and the students who only resumed in November 2015 will be at the receiving end. The lecturers and the government will have to make compromises and resolve their issues in the best interest of the students.
Away from education, but staying with issues concerning workers, and this time the Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade has directed that the January salaries of workers in the state be paid on or before the end of the week in order to ensure that they meet their financial responsibilities. The governor had his concern about the welfare and well-being of the state workers when he paid an unscheduled visit to the state's Land and Urban Development Ministry in Calabar to ascertain the level of staff punctuality. He also announced the suspension of the Commissioner of Land and Urban Development, Mr. John Inyang, but reverted his decision following pleas from staff of the ministry. According to him, the idea of encouraging punctuality and seriousness to work is to be how to revolutionize the state and create industries, create opportunities and job expansion, as well as provide opportunity for people to exhaust their great natural potential. And to achieve this, support is all they needed.
I'm ordering that the salaries for the month of January should be paid between now and Friday. I take that decision because I am conscious of the fact that we have an extensive expenditure during the Yuletide period, which is the month of December, where you have to spend a lot on Christmas celebration. And of course, if you remember, we paid so early, at about the 16th. So by this time, you should be broke and out, and this is the time you need money to send the children back to school. So I understand that. But why will I make all of that efforts? I have spent sleepless nights, and you know what the state is going through. When I achieve all of that, then I come back and I see the workforce that I give my right eye to protect, not giving me the support that I need. I feel so saddened by what I've seen here. The statistics shows that we're truly not prepared for the industrial revolution that I wish for this state. We cannot continue this way. And for me, I'm going to order the immediate suspension of the commissioner.
Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade, we did report that after pleas of the staff that he spoke to, he rescinded the decision to suspend that commissioner. Meanwhile, in other news, there are no plans to extend the amnesty program for ex-militants in the Niger Delta. This is according to the special advisor to the president and coordinator of the amnesty program, retired Brigadier General Paul Borough. The general was speaking in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, during the verification exercise of hundreds of ex-militants captured in the amnesty program. He adds that the federal government intends to get rid of alleged ghost names registered in the program and sustain prompt payment for the ex-militants and other programs of training and empowerment as spelled out in the agenda of the program.
I'm here to ensure that the number of persons captured in the amnesty program in River State are actually the exact number, because we are carrying out a bio-verification exercise to ascertain the true position of the captured elements. Before I was appointed, there was a gap of about 3 months. That was the cause of the agitation. What I did first and foremost was to carry out my in-house verification exercise before I started paying stipends as well as debts that were owed by the program, both onshore and offshore. I want to continue to sustain that pace in order to allow for NDDC to do their work, Niger Delta Ministry to do their work, the governors in Niger Delta State to do their work, the Ministry of Agri to also to support in boosting agri in Niger Delta. The aim is to allow for development.
Staying in the South and the Niger Delta Development Commission, the NDDC have made a commitment to partner with the federal government to reintegrate beneficiaries of the Presidential Amnesty Program. The acting managing director of the NDDC, Ibim Semenitari, pointed out at a meeting with a representation of the program at the NDDC headquarters in Port Harcourt that the commission is expected by law to forge strategic partnerships to develop the Niger Delta region.
A courtesy visit to the NDDC headquarters in Port Harcourt from the Special Advisor to the President on Niger Delta, who doubles as the coordinator of the Niger Delta Presidential Amnesty Program. He and his team are seeking cooperation from the NDDC to reintegrate former agitators back into the Niger Delta.
We want to reintegrate the 30,000 ex-agitators back into our society. We all have a responsibility to ensure our area is safe in order to allow the international community to come in to support the government of Nigeria to develop our place.
For the acting managing director of the NDDC, who believes this partnership is critical for sustainable development in the region, it is a welcome development.
We have suffered a lot of deprivation in the past because of the kinds of things that happen to our environment. But we cannot continue to allow ourselves to be defined by those challenges of the past. We will not allow ourselves to continue to be defined by the problems that we've witnessed. And so the kinds of things you're doing with this reintegration program is something that is very welcoming.
About 30,000 youths were registered for the program, almost half of whom have been trained in various disciplines, including aviation, diving, welding, and as technicians for the oil and gas sector.
Finally, away from the South-South to the Southeast, the Imo State Governor, Rochas Okorocha, has said that his agenda for the next 4 years will focus more on educational sector by enhancing the welfare of teachers and staff, as well as consolidating on the qualitative free education given to students across the state.
A roll call of top government functionaries, the legislature, traditional rulers, school teachers, students and staff of the State Education Board attended the occasion, one put together to officially open the new staff office complex built by the Imo State Governor.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
The executive chairman of the Imo State Universal Basic Education Board, Mrs. Gertrude Oduka, appreciates the state government's commitment to improving the welfare of workers in the sector.
Previously, they have been saying 10 in a room, 7 in an office, very tattered and congested office. And today, they have more offices where you can relax and cool your brain. New environment, new structure, and that has a lot to do in the mind of any worker, even in your own house. A new house, a new spirit, a new environment, a new mindset, a new thinking.
For the Imo State Governor, Mr. Rochas Okorocha, there is no dampening his administration's resolve, but to whom much is given, much is expected.
We must develop a new spirit in Imo State. A spirit, a generous spirit that prizes honor more than life and glory more than wealth. A spirit that considers the less privileged in society. A spirit that sees the widow and says, why can't you rise up again? That's the spirit we must preach in Imo State. It's on record today that last few months, last Christmas, we paid salary in spite of the difficulties of Nigeria. We paid salary on the 18th of last month, even before the salary is due. We paid 10 months of salary to those who have been owed and spent 12.1 billion naira on payment of salary.
With such reassurances coming from the state governor, the workers are expected to reciprocate by also recommitting and rededicating themselves to work.
Which brings this edition of News Across Nigeria to a conclusion. Thank you for watching. I'm Olumide Macaulay.